You can be its savior.
SHAZAM, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Jalon and Akram. For today's episode, we are reviewing Black Adam from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the newest installment in the DC franchise. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But Akram, I have a lot of thoughts on this movie, but I want to get your opinion, so go ahead.
Yeah, man. This for sure was a blockbuster film. It felt kind of like a early 2000s superhero movie. It makes sense because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson came up with the concept in 2007, I believe. IGN even said the same thing. I think a lot of people have the same critique about it. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. We'll delve into that. So you guys be sure to stick around towards the end. But Dylan, yeah, tell us your thoughts on Black Adam.
That's so funny. I was just going to say it definitely felt like a early 2000s movie. It has like this, I don't know. It's very like action oriented. There's not a whole lot of, there's like some plot and some dialogue, but for the most part, I had fun with this movie. You know, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 41%. But I enjoyed it. And I went with my friend and he actually enjoyed it too. I had kind of low expectations for this movie because DC's been kind of falling short lately with some of their properties. Um, but yeah, I came into this film with kind of like a low bar and it actually succeeded that. Dwayne Johnson, he kind of like did to Teth Adam what John Cena gave to Peacemaker, and he kind of made this character very likable. And I enjoyed like a lot of the characters and even like the Justice Society characters I thought were amazing on screen. And oof, Dr. Fate, man, he's probably like my new favorite like hero now in the DC franchise. So much like I don't know. I think he might even surpass Doctor Strange for me. But what were some of your favorite characters in this movie?
Yeah, for sure. I love how DC. One thing I'll give credit to the DCEU is the way how they do superhero costume designs. A lot of times in the MCU, it's kind of utilitarian. For the most part, with DC, it's just a live action comic booky like design, and I love that. Right, it's really sleek. And I love Dr. Fate's whole design too. I think he was awesome here. I think Hawkman, I was a little disappointed in Hawkman. I like Aldis Hodge as Hawkman, but I just felt like he was kind of like this punching bag later on. I did like some of like his philosophies, but other than that, I was kind of disappointed that he was such a punching bag. Black Adam, though, he is really strong. I can't wait to see a showdown with a certain character we'll talk about a little bit later. And we also get the return of Jennifer Holland from Peacemaker, which is funny. You were talking about Peacemaker itself, which is awesome. And I think that they kind of merged two ideas. So they merged Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut, and they also merged Peacemaker, confirming that it's a part of the continuous DCEU. And I can't wait for other movies to pick up on that. I think this story takes place in the comics as well. I think they tried to stay true to that story, and I appreciate it. But for the most part, it was pretty cool. Yeah, again, I had fun with it. You know, it's not like this deep film, right, where it's just nonstop talking about slavery and you know the psychology of it and blah blah blah. It's just a fun action flick, and I went into it with like a low bar as you, and I came out like really really happy. It was a good feeling, right? So
Yeah, it's like a weird kind of mix of like movies we've kind of already seen. Like I saw like elements of like Moon Knight. I saw elements of like Iron Man 1. Um Even Deadpool at one point with Atom Smasher. Um but it kind of paid off, and I will say for some of the criticisms I feel like sometimes it was just like the pacing was kind of weird. Like I feel like the action or like the dialogue scenes were like kind of rushed. Like they were talking like really fast and it was
yeah.
kind of like very like jump cutty. But when it got to like the actual like fighting, like I feel like Dwayne Johnson like brought some of his like WWE like into this movie. Like when he gave a like an ass beating, like you saw that shit. Like
Right.
bro, he gave like Palpatine level ass beatings
I
with that
know.
lightning. Holy shit, man! I did not expect like the level of like fucking like graphicness in this movie. But it was
Yeah,
awesome, and that's one thing I will give to DC. They're not afraid to pull punches when it comes to gore and action.
absolutely.
And yeah, the Justice Society. I agree. I feel like Hawkman was kind of like a weird character, but I think towards the end I started like warming up to him, and he kind of became a likable character. I was kind of like weirded out because he has like a weird morality. Because I'm like, don't you work for like Amanda Waller? Like she's literally like killed like millions of people.
Yeah, that is
She
weird.
literally has Task Force X like commit like suicide missions and shit. I'm like, so it's like a weird philosophy. But Pierce Brosnan, man, this is who I really came to see the movie for, was him. and he definitely fucking delivered as Doctor Strange. One of my favorite characters in DC and in the DCEU now, definitely. The other two, I forgot the girl's name. She was like the tornado
Oh, Quintessa,
character.
Swindell, Cyclone.
Yeah, she was cool. I mean, her and Adam Smasher didn't have like a whole lot of screen time. They felt like two interns, honestly,
Yeah,
like a like a
right,
job or something. But
right.
I had fun with them as well, and even like some of um residents of I think it's called Kahndaq or
Yeah,
something.
Kahndaq, yeah.
They were fun. Yeah, the little kid. Yeah, he's kind of like this like Steven Universe character with his
Yeah.
shirt. But he's like a big fan, and it kind of shows like two different perspectives, right? Who we consider villains are kind of actually like heroes to some people.
Yeah, yeah, and at least the kid wasn't annoying, really. I felt like there was a stupid decision where he was just chilling in that like air duct. He could have just hid there, but like he started. I was like, I felt like to spit on him like, when he was like rolling on the skateboard.
Right, with the skateboard.
Yeah, I was like, please, man, chill. I mean, he was pretty cool. He's not as bad. I expected like usually with kid characters in movies, they're like really annoying. I don't think he was too
Mhm.
bad. I think Isis, like his mother, was all right too. We
Well,
have
I was laughing because
why?
he was like he kept when he was trying to rally the crowd and he was like speaking like so like softly.
I
I'm like,
know.
motherfucker, no one can hear you. He's like, come on, we have to rally
And that thing almost falls on top of
together.
him.
Right? I'm like, no one can hear you, dude.
So what did you think? Oh, we also have Mohammed Amer from
Oh yes, from
Rami.
from Rami, our
Check that
favorite
out.
character.
Check out our review for season 3 of Rami, guys. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the whole. For me, I never delve into like Black Adam lore. So I was surprised when his son wasn't actually like the Black Adam, the
Mhm.
champion. Right later on, I mean, he was in the beginning, but he changed into he gave it to his father. So what were your thoughts on that?
I'm not like the hugest Shazam reader, to be honest. If anyone in the comment knows if it's like accurate to the comics, please feel free to comment below. But yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I mean, Black Adam in the comics though is kind of like an anti-hero. There's times where like he's like really fucking evil, and then he's like doing some badass shit. But then there's other times where like he's kind of like doing like heroic shit at the same time. So it's weird. He's like a very like anti-hero character, and it kind of felt like I was watching like the Venom movie,
Mm.
because they didn't really involve Shazam with this, because Dwayne Johnson said, Shazam would have, like, outshined his character, and I agree, I think this movie worked really well without him, because the Shazam movies kinda felt like very, like, comical or, like, goofy, and there was, like, some, comedic moments in this movie too, but it felt much more darker and much more, I guess, like, groundbreaking. Yeah, what do you think of, like, some of the fights in this movie?
Oh, that they were wonderful. They were like, so the CGI, honestly, in the trailers, the CGI looked amazing, but I noticed there was a lot of shitload of CGI. I didn't expect that. Like sometimes you could actually tell that it was CGI, right? Especially with like characters like Cyclone or like Black Adam, especially in the beginning when he was jumping back and forth or just lifting somebody, you could tell that's like completely CGI, and I felt like that was kind of weird. But it's very visceral, very like intimate at moments. I love that fight scene inside the kid's room. I thought that was like, damn, they're messing up all
Mm.
his collectibles, but at the same time too, it was awesome seeing Hawkman and Black Adam go toe to toe. And even Doctor Fate's like certain little spectacles and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. I could definitely compare him a lot to Doctor Strange, and I think it holds up. I think he's great. For like Adam Smasher, his action scenes were very like funny as well. I mean, he kind of reminds me of the Ant-Man character. Where there's not a lot that you do with him being gigantic. He just blocks things and does that type of stuff. But for the most part, the fight scenes were really great. I mean, but most of the movie was just Hawkman and Black Adam like going at it, right? Until we get to the end with Kahndaq. I believe that's the character's like the villain, right? And I think that was a great
Mhm.
fight scene. I think the whole thing was very like epic, right? He's gonna Black Adam's gonna get back into it, right? So what did you think about the final like the fight scene there? Because that was probably the most epic part.
Kinda reminded me of Wonder Woman when she was fighting, like, Ares,
Yeah.
like, there was weird, like, moments, like, in the fights. I hate when movies do this. It's like they always, like, do this, like, slow transition
Yeah.
where, like, they're about to blow, like, the punch, and then they go really slow. They did it so many times in the movie, and I was like, "Oh god," but, for the most part, it was alright. I like how kind of like Dr. Fate was like holding Sadak back for a minute,
Yeah.
because he was trying to save Hawkman from, and it ended up in a weird twist, like Hawkman technically died, that was his fate, but it was a fake image, and I wonder who's gonna get the helm of Dr. Fate next. But yeah,
Yeah.
for the fight scene itself with Black Adam and Sadak, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a cool showcase of their powers and what he can really do and how powerful he is. I actually feel like he could be more powerful than Shazam.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the whole thing is that he has that viciousness, right? That Shazam lacks. He has that anger, but I think Shazam also has his one of his most powerful things is that he has that hope, right? Especially being a child himself. So I think that they could even go toe to toe. Um, so yeah, we might as well just let everything out about the end credit. So Amanda Waller. So first of all, the Black Adam, he gets another like suit change, right? So now it's kind of like more like the comics where it's bright yellow, and Amanda Waller comes in with a hologram, and basically, in my own words, you better stay there, or I'm gonna fuck you up. And then who comes down, right? Because he says, "Bring them all, bring whoever you got," right? Who comes down? Henry Cavill as Superman, and I was so shocked. This is the first time we've seen Henry Cavill back. Really, we've been waiting for so long. So give me your whole like thoughts about that.
Yeah, that fucking surprise. I mean, I know Dwayne Johnson said he wanted like Black Adam to go toe to toe with Superman, but man, I didn't think like Henry himself was gonna come back. I thought maybe they'd do a recast because I figured he was kind of done with DC. But yeah, that was a surprise to me. I'm glad he's back. But I mean, what does that mean as far as like the future of DC? Like, does that mean, like, the JL are coming back? Like, and what does that also mean? Because like, for Flash, I know Ezra Miller's that motherfucker's facing potential jail time right now, so I wonder what's gonna happen next. We still don't know what's going on with Batman, but, I mean, it was a cool little cameo. I mean, this movie definitely had a lot of cool cameos in it. Yeah, it was great to see him back. I would kinda wish, like, they woulda teased, like, what's the next installment, like, because I mean, it's weird kind of that, Black Adam got to face Superman before Shazam. I thought that was a little weird. I figured, like, they would've, like, showed Shazam towards the end or something. Yeah, it was great. What did you think of it?
I think The Rock was right when he says the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change. Yeah, I think he was pretty right on the money with that. I hope that we get to see in the future a match going on between those two. Yeah, there was an animated film where it was Superman, Black Adam, and Shazam going at it, and they were fighting Black Adam. I hope we get something like that. I know that pretty soon we're gonna get Fury of the Gods. So I wonder if that'll kind of tie in to this movie. Probably in the end credits later on or something like that. I mean, he's pretty territorial when it comes to in the comics at least, or any video game rendition. Black Adam stays there in Condor. I keep saying Condor. It's probably not that. I'm sorry, guys.
Kahndaq or
But
something, yeah.
yeah, so I thought it was great. I still like I didn't expect to see Henry Cavill back. That's the main thing. I was like, wow, he's coming back. And I wonder it's because the recent change to the DCEU in general and how they produce movies.
Mm.
I wonder if that has something to do with it. Maybe this is a last minute thing.
And it's
Um
funny how Amanda Waller keeps popping up in all these properties. She's kind of like the glue that's holding DC together now, I guess.
well, she became Nick Fury in some twisted way, right? But she's a really dark character in a way. She's kind of like a villain too. So it's really interesting to see. I wonder if there's gonna be like a period of enlightenment, where they disagree with her morals and stuff. I thought that they did that already in Peacemaker. So like the fact that she's here, I'm like, oh, okay. So everyone's following her now, right? I wonder if that'll change later on where the heroes eventually we have to get to that point where the Justice League build that tower in the sky, right? And they take it from there. And I think once they do that, it's
Mhm.
gonna be really comic booky, and I think that's awesome. But I think we have a ways to go. But Dylan, I want to ask you, what are your final thoughts about the movie in general, and what is your rating?
For the most part, I enjoyed the movie. I mean, it wasn't like the best movie from DC. It's definitely one of the higher tier ones, I would say. I enjoyed it for the most part. I thought the action was really solid. Pacing was a little weird for me. I thought the soundtrack was great. Every song they used was kind of cool, and I do like the little like references to, like other movies, even like the Good and Bad and the
Oh
Ugly
yeah.
showdown. I enjoyed that scene. The characters weren't too annoying. I like them, and I kind of glad that some of them didn't like get killed off. So if I had to rate, that's my phone. I would rate this movie a 7 out of 10. How would you rate it?
Yeah, I think I would rate it. So going off of like a major blockbuster, and if you just want to have fun, go in there with like an empty mind, right, and just have fun, I would rate it a 9 out of 10. But critically speaking, I probably would rate it as well, like a 7 or 6 out of 10, just because it felt a lot like an early 2000s movie, and there was a lot to learn from like other superhero action flicks that you could have incorporated somehow to make it a little bit more deeper. I felt like there was some moments where it should have been a little bit more deeper. Black Adam kind of felt sometimes like a kind of like one note character. But I think it was just because there was so much going on and so much you're dealing with that you couldn't really delve into his character. So from that aspect, I would give it a 6 out of 10. So for sure.
Well, let me ask you. What I was gonna ask you, what are your predictions for what do you expect we'll see for the next DC property?
Yeah, I think for sure. Well, we're gonna get Peacemaker season 2. I wonder what Jennifer Holland's character, how she's, because she's in that like they have like an underwater like headquarters. So I wonder if Peacemaker would somehow travel there or something. Well, Black Adam, I got a feeling we're not gonna see much of him after Fury of the Gods. I think he's gonna come in as like an Easter egg or something, or like an end credits. Superman, seeing him back, Henry Cavill, that gives me hope. I don't know. They're changing the way how DC is right now. We still have the Flash movie. So, and that's even weird because is he going to reset the timeline as well? So, like, does everything that, everything we watch, does it really matter at the end of the day? I don't know. Who's to say? Maybe they're going to try to go like parallel to what the MCU is doing with multiverse stuff. We have Michael Keaton coming back still in the Flash movie. So I wonder if there'll be like a war of like all the multiverses at one point or something like that. So yeah, what are your predictions?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they have to eventually build up to kind of like the Justice League, building the Watchtower, and I kind of would love to see like a reboot of like Green Lantern or even like Martian Manhunter because we haven't really seen him in live action yet. Yeah, I wonder too if like Flash will probably reset the timeline and maybe that's what kicks off this new DC universe. I mean, they've done it in the comics, so why not do it in live action too? Um, yeah, we still have Shazam, Fear of the Gods left, and not so many properties left. But yeah, I mean, so far DC, I'm just kind of having fun with it at this point. I mean, in a weird way, it's kind of like surpassing Marvel in certain check boxes. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they bring next. But yeah, that's our review, guys. So thank you so much. What are your final thoughts, Akram?
Yeah, guys, if you made it to the end, please remember to like this video. If you enjoyed our content, really, please check out our other reviews, our other movie reviews. And so if you're new to the channel, we're reviewing each week Andor, and we're also reviewing The Handmaid's Tale. And that's about our final shows that we're reviewing for this season of the Lunch Table Podcast. We have a lot more content coming up, and we have also to review, I think, our next movie, which is The Barbarian. And a little bit later down the line, we have Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So yeah,
thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to the channel already, please like and subscribe if you can. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify as well. You can check out our socials on Instagram and TikTok where we post clips of our episodes. So thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
SHAZAM!
I kept thinking they were doing the Wu-Tang signs.